5 reasons why you should not choose a career in marketing and communication. Making a decision regarding your career, if it's something you want to do for a very long time, I think that you should know both the good and the bad. Why then did I go and get a master's degree? Knowing what I know now, would I still choose a career in marketing and communication if I could go back in time? Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jessica Fortunes. I am a marketing and communications professional. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why you should not choose a career in marketing and communication. Yes, yes, yes. That definitely sounds very hypocritical, but bear with me. After spending about 5 years in marketing and communication, and also a year since my master's degree, I think that I am very qualified to tell you what the cons of working in marketing and communication is or are. So definitely listen to me or watch this video to the very end if this is something that you're interested in. And a very quick backstory, yeah. So when I decided that I was going to build a career for myself in marketing and communications, that was in 2018, 2019. I thought only about the exciting campaigns. I thought about the beautiful brands that I wanted to build. You know, I saw Indomie, Bonvita, Milo. I saw their adverts and I was like, wow, I want to be part of the team that does this within an organization. You know, those were the things I saw. And it was very exciting. But I did not see the not exciting part. And so in this video, I want to share the not exciting part with you. And that is because when you decide to make a decision or when you're making a decision regarding your career, if it's something you want to do for a very long time, I think that you should know both the good and the bad so that you can weigh your options and decide if it's best for you. Also, at the end of this video, I will share with you, or I'll answer the question. Knowing what I know now, would I still choose a career in marketing and communication if I could go back in time? Well, you find out the answer at the end of this video, so let's go straight into it, okay? Very first reason why I would not choose a career in marketing and communications today is because everybody has an idea about marketing. Everybody knows it all. Like, go on Twitter, there's a Tom, Dick, and Harry who knows how to do your job better than you. There's somebody who is analyzing your content, who's analyzing your campaign. There's somebody who is telling you advertising is different from marketing. There's somebody who is arguing about the brand name. Everybody just seems to know something. And this is external, like I've just explained, and also even within an organization, you know. Even people outside of your department will give you ideas and opinions and say, oh, marketing should do this. I think you should sponsor this. I think you should do this. Or I think that you should post this. Ah, everybody has an idea. You know, the other day I made a funny post where I said that if I were to come back again, I would be like a specialist doctor because nobody be arguing with doctors if the lungs are inside the tummy or it's on in the heart. Like nobody be arguing with them. But you see marketing and communication, everybody be arguing. Everybody be giving you opinions. Oh, what you've done is wrong. What you've done is right. And the interesting thing is, if you do follow what they say and eventually hit like a block road or an obstacle, the thing is, you're not going to go and tell management that, oh, I was listening to what this person said. No, it has to be you. So you need to be confident in what you know. You need to be assertive. There's a lot of assertion. There's a lot of going back and forth. There's a lot of defending what you're saying, you know. And because everybody seems to have an idea, and because it is very low entry or low barrier to entry, it's like everybody can do it better than the person who is currently doing it. And it just has you sometimes questioning, why then did I go and get a master's degree? Why did I not just like, why everybody can do it? Why am I building a career in this thing? You know, it makes it almost feel like it's not special. It's nothing special. So it's nothing special. So you continuously have to remind yourself on why it is special, why you do the things that you do. You continually need to understand this thing that you do for yourself so that you can explain it to others and so that you can explain that you have mastery of this thing. Like you're not somebody on Twitter. You actually know what you're doing and you know the why behind it, right? So it's a lot of that. And sometimes I can't lie, sometimes I don't want to do it because sometimes I'm like, you know what? If you know better, how about you just do it? How about you just do it, it's a lot of back and forth that sincerely when I'm thinking, I think given my personality where it's like, I rather just want to do my work and not be, not be having to talk too much. It's like, if I know, maybe I'd have chosen something else, maybe like a software engineer, but it's like, I just be on my laptop working on my stuff and I'm not talking to people, that kind of stuff. So that's like number one reason why I would not choose a career in marketing. Number two reason is that there's a lot of things in marketing that you cannot necessarily measure immediately. And organizations want ROI, return on investment, and they want it immediately. Let me explain this. Especially if you're working in on the brand aspect, where you're building perception, where you're sponsoring things, where you're doing billboards, where you're doing offline marketing. I think that digital marketing has made it a bit easier because you can measure website clicks, you can measure reach, you can measure engagement, you can measure all of these things on the digital aspect of it. But when it comes to the brand aspect of it, where you're telling your CEO, brand awareness, visibility, humanizing the brand positioning, it's like, what are these things? Is it converting to sales? When am I going to see people who are buying? So that makes you feel like sometimes that can make you feel very inferior as a marketing person because you're not like, oh, so it means that I worked on this great idea that I have and it's not bringing any result. Because I think that everybody who does marketing at the end of the day wants to have great results. I don't think that you want to work in an organization, get a budget for something, and then it doesn't yield results. But the thing is that one, sometimes those results are not dependent on you as a marketing person. It's not a reflection of your work. Sometimes it is the platforms you're working on. Sometimes it is the fact that the things that you want or the result that you want are not going to come immediately. I'll give you an example. You put a billboard up for like 3 months, 6 months, right? You cannot necessarily measure the number of people who will see that ad. You cannot measure. You can only say, okay, we know that this number of people walk here or pass here every day. So we are going to estimate that this number of people will see this ad. And eventually, when they go to the supermarket, they will buy what we're trying to sell because they've seen us somewhere, right? But the thing is, it's not just your billboard that's going to work. It's going to be your billboard, it's going to be your social media post, it's going to be your staff who is probably at the supermarket wearing your t-shirt and telling people, oh, come and see this. It's going to be probably somebody on television who is probably talking about, oh, I used this brand and it was amazing. So testimonial is a combination of different things that come together before an individual makes a sale or sorry, makes a purchase. It's like the awareness stage, they know about this thing, they have interest in it, they have a desire, and then they then go ahead and buy it, right? I think that's the either. Yes, I still remember. There are stages to these things, but then you have to tell that to your management. You have to tell them that it's going to take a process. It's not just going to happen immediately. So I sent out an email today. That email might not give us all the people that we want, but eventually, when we keep doing this process and continually doing this, eventually we will stick in the mind of people and then they will buy. But most companies want results immediately, and sometimes as a marketer, you're not able to measure that. Sometimes you're not even able to like say, in fact, you can run a campaign today, right? And the person does not buy until the next 3 months because that's when they need it. So what they do is just save your post. And then you say, okay, 1,000 people saved this and only 10 people have bought as at today. And then your management tells you, okay, you have spent money, wasted, you are fired, right? So it's like, there are a lot of things that involve. There's a lot of like psychology. There's a lot of managing up and managing down expectations, even managing yourself so that you don't feel like, oh, you're useless, right? And there's a lot of remembering that, okay, it's 360. There's a lot that comes into it. It's way more than just one thing. So all of this or this part of it is like how I just wish marketing was in a way that I just say this in one time and then people just buy one time. But like there's a lot of factors that play into it. And sometimes you cannot measure. Sometimes it's going to take a while. So you need to again explain, you need to set expectations, you need to manage expectations. And sometimes I feel like I'm taking it personal now, but like you get the point, right? So that's the second reason why I would not I would not choose a career in marketing because having to defend like the campaign and the budget every three months, every 6 months can sometimes be very tiring and can have an adverse effect on your mental health. Like I'm not even joking because you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get fired. I can't even lie to you. I think feel like every 1 month or 2 months, I usually feel like they're gonna fire me. They're gonna fire me because yeah. So that's the second reason. Number three reason is that a lot of the things that we do in marketing is very, or marketing and communications is very, actually let me take that back. Number three thing is how interdependent our roles as marketing and communications professionals are, right? Let me explain. You work in communications, you're doing internal communication. You need your team members, and these team members have their own work. So you need them to create content with you. There's a lot of lobbying. There's a lot of now answer me now. There's a lot of I remember the first time when I started my internship, that was last year, and one of my bosses gave me feedback. She said, Jessica, you need to learn to work with everybody because marketing places you at the center. It literally places you at the center. You have to talk to everybody. Software engineers can get away with speaking to only management or only product managers. But you see, as a marketing professional, you would have to talk to management, you'd have to talk to your graphic designer, you'd have to talk to finance person, you have to talk to your HR, you'd have to talk to your sales guys, you have to talk to your customers. Like you literally are talking to everybody. In fact, it's impossible for you to be in sales, in marketing and communications and not have everybody across different departments just know who you are because you're at the center. You need everybody. Your role is very dependent to a level on certain people within the organization. So you have to be able to carry your stakeholders along. And sometimes that can be very tiring because these people have their own role. And I can understand it where it's like, oh, a salesperson, for instance, trying to get sales right now. And you're telling them, oh, come and sit down and let's make a video. So you have to make them understand why it's important for their own role to achieve their goals. And so that sometimes can make the role like very, it's almost like your own role within the organization is to beg people. And the thing is, if you don't do it, your KPI is going to tank, and you're going to do. Sometimes I go and tell myself, you need to fire me tomorrow because like what's going on? And sometimes I'm like, can you just sit the hell down and let's do this thing? So it's a lot of patience and human management and ability to, like what's that word? Somebody recently said something to me. She said, ah, you need to toast them, sweeten them. And it's like why though? Why? But yeah, you have to do that. So that's another reason why I sincerely would not choose a career in marketing and communications in today's world. And also the need to, I think even still on that, right, is how you need to like, because I'm building a brand for an organization, it means that I need to explain to the people within the organization that this is how you need to portray yourself. Even though you are Gen Z or you're a millennial or you're this, that's great. Even though this is your personality, but this is the personality of the brand that you're working for, and it has to come first, especially when you're talking or presenting yourself as an employee of the organization. So doing that alone, there can be a lot of no, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. Da, 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 da. Ah, and you're like, who sent me this work? Who sent me this? So that can also be very, very like very, very stressful. So that's another reason why. Because sometimes I can't like I don't necessarily want to be talking to everybody. I don't want to be chasing people, but like it's part of the role, right? So if you're going to choose a career, this career, you need to be ready for that. And mind you, I just only spoke about the the internal part of it, but there's also the external part of it, which is your customers. You're dealing with customers, so you need to learn to think as your customer, you need to know your customers. And the thing is, human beings are very unpredictable. That's going to lead me to the next and the fourth point. Marketing and trends. Human beings, very unpredictable. Like every 2 days, the algorithm is changing, but that's not all. Every 2 days, your customers are evolving. I mean, you see people on Instagram and social media tell you, oh, I love the woman I'm becoming. I love the man I'm becoming. I am rebranding. I am changing. I am motivating myself. Now I'm a vegetarian. I'm a this. There's a new trend. It's now AI. We're not wearing this brand again. We're not focused on this brand. Ah, and as a marketing person, you need to be on top of this. You need to know what pop culture is saying. You need to know what is trending. You need to know what people are talking about. So it's like you need to keep up. And sometimes you're like, where do I want to start from? Where should It's like if you like, so it's a lot of being on top of that. And sometimes I want to just log off Instagram and log off social media and actually just close Twitter and not hear what anybody's saying. But the thing is, if I do that, then I'm going to miss opportunities to position my brand, to talk about my brand, and that is going to mean that my KPI will tank. Meanwhile, there are people within the organization who don't need to know about these things. But as a marketing and communication person, you need to read a lot. You need to you need to know your customers even as they grow from baby to adults. What do they need? I mean, the other day I was seeing that Capri-Sun has gone from being in just the he used to have just one pack. Now he has like a plastic bottle. Now he's going to go into different form because they realize that their target audience are also growing and they still want Capri-Sun and they want it in different sizes and different ways and different formats. So it means as a marketing person, you need to be on top of trends. And sometimes that can be very tiring. So it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to care if my target audience has been branded. I don't want to care, but you have to care. And so that's another thing you need to think about as a marketing and communications professional. And the very fifth one is having said all of these things and how like tasking the role is, there's also the fact that we're not the highest paid. It's like I don't think that marketing when you go and do a search of highest paid professionals or occupations or career paths, marketing is not even part of the first 10. And so it's like, so why do I have to do all of these things if I'm never going to make a lot of money and I want to make a lot of money? You know what I mean? So that can be very, it can be very, sometimes I'm like, Jessica, you should have thought about this thing because if you want to be a billionaire by 30, is marketing really the way to go? Because, okay, let me say this, right? Personally, I feel like regardless of the career path that you're on, you can definitely make money. There's money to be made everywhere. Like, I made my first $1,000 as a social media manager, legit, right? And so that makes me know that, or that reminds me that regardless of what career path, you can make money, regardless of where you're at, right? But the thing is, it might take me a year to get there, but it would take a software engineer or a doctor 6 months or 3 months to get there. So it's like you're going to have to be a lot more patient. And the thing is, aside from your skill as a marketing person, there are a lot of other things you need to think about. As a doctor, this is my skill. I'm a good doctor. You can hire me immediately. And then I'll go and start doing my work. But as a marketing person, you have to think about, networking. Do people like you? You yourself, do you have a good brand? So it's like it's going away from how much you can make is now no longer just dependent on your skills. It is dependent on a lot of other factors that you now have to start playing a role in. You now have to start positioning yourself as well. And that can be very tasking because like sometimes just pay me for the work that I do, and all of that. So I could keep going on and on, but I think that these are the 5 reasons why I would not, or I would think very deeply about if marketing, a career in marketing and communication is really the way forward for me. And I think that you should think very deeply about these before you decide on going into a career in marketing and communication. And I should mention that this is not to say don't choose a career in marketing and communication or don't build a career in marketing and communication for yourself. This is to say that these are the cons that I think that you need to think about and think about it in terms of like your personality and think about it in terms of the changes that you're willing to make to get to where you're trying to get to. Okay? And so now to the very first question I asked, knowing everything that I know now, if I could go back 5 years or if I had to start over again, would I still choose a career in marketing and communication? The answer to that is yes. Why is that? Because I really do love what I do. Like I love what I do. I enjoy what I do. I When I think right now about my career, I'm thinking about how do I get to the next stage where I'm very big, where I'm very good, where I'm excellent. And that tells me that I enjoy what I do. Even when it's stressful, I don't mind the stress because I like it. I enjoy it. I like how it allows me to combine creativity and corporate and merge it to one. I also like the fact that as a marketing and communications person or as a media and communications person, I think that we are king makers and queen makers because we have a little bit of a role that we play in why people choose this brand over the other brand or why people like this person over the other person. And most time people don't even realize it. Your customers don't realize it, but it's so much power for you to be able to make somebody think about a brand in a certain light. or for you to make somebody like one person over the other person, or vote for one person and not vote for one person, or travel to one country and not travel to one country. People often think that it is just from their own, like their own personal agency. But oftentimes it is the marketing and comms people behind these countries or behind these brands. Actually, they are forming narrative, they're putting out things that are making you interested. So it makes me feel very special to be on this path. And I feel like the people who know it, they know it, and people who get it, get it. And so what I think about right now is how I can get to the very top of my career, and I'm excited for that. So yeah, I would do it again. And if you want to choose a career in marketing, I would say join. All right, until next time, I hope that you've enjoyed watching this. I remain Jessica Fortune. Bye.